You gotta love it. 70 degrees one day, snowing the next. Hey y'all, as you can tell from the previous video, our weather has gone from beautiful to dead of winter again. And because today is so cold and windy and nasty, I wanted to work on a project. Now recently I picked up a new rod, a bait casting rod at Dick's Sporting Goods. It's a Lews Speed Stick Carbon Blue. You can see right here. I picked this thing up. It was originally a combo. It came with a bait caster. I guess either the bait casting reel got damaged or it didn't ship with one. They just put the rod up for 25 bucks. And I saw that on the shelf at Dick's and I was like, man, it's a Lews. Didn't really know much about the rod, but it's a 610 and I wanted a shorter bait casting rod, and I have a Black Max that needed a rod, so I picked it up and I was pretty happy with it. Unfortunately, I broke the tip off of it right after I got it, and it broke right at the bottom of the barrel of the tip. It was my fault, and I wasn't too pressed about it. I was like, well, you know, 25 bucks. I was gonna chuck it, because it was only 25 bucks. But the more I started thinking about it, the more I realized I really liked the rod, and I really didn't think I lost enough material for it to really affect the sensitivity. So I went on a mission today to try to fix this. So this is going to be a simulation of what I did, because I'd never done this before. I didn't think to film it, but this will pretty much cover what I did. So if you're lucky enough to have your rod tip that broke off, this is what you can do. The instructions will say to take a pair of pliers and heat the barrel up, and that'll cause the rod material to just pull out. And you use a second pair of pliers if you're brave and don't want to, not worry about getting burned. You know, once you heat that barrel up, the glue will let go and you can pull that plug out. But what happens is, if you have a like what happened to me today, the stuff in the barrel was flush with the bottom of the barrel, so I couldn't get any leverage to get it out, and it was like that. And you know, there's a hole in the top. I tried all sorts of things. I tried sticking a screwdriver in there and prying it out. I couldn't get any leverage. I was actually thinking about drilling it out, and then I was worried about damaging the guide. So I figured out the best way to do this just by screwing around. What you do is, and you want to be careful not to grip with your pliers too hard. So you heat up the barrel just like you did the other way, and the best tool to get this thing out is actually going to be a push pin. The good thing about this is, if you're working with it, the tip of this might get hot, but you're not going to burn your fingers. And what you want to do is just insert and then kind of, you know, you want to scrape like up and back, and it'll just come out in one piece just like that. And you got a new rod tip to put back on. And basically what you do is, you can use Gorilla Glue, or you can use rod cement like this. If you're going to use rod cement, all you do is just, you heat this up for about 3 seconds. It gets kind of jelly. You coat it all over the rod tip. Then you take your barrel, you let this cool down. The glue will harden on there. You heat your barrel up again till it gets pretty hot, say like about 2 minutes, 2-3 minutes. And you just push it back on to the rod tip, and that'll heat up the glue. Make sure that you're lined up. That's probably the hardest part. And you know, your guide will set. I'd give it, I don't know, I'd give it a day just to make sure. You should let it set. Also, another tip, if your rod tip where it broke is frayed, cut it back to where it isn't frayed. If you have a Dremel, use a Dremel. The reason being is when you use like wire cutters or something like that, it crushes the blank and you're going to get like splitting and fraying. So once you get a clean cut, take a file, you know, clean it up a little bit on the edge, and then take some fine grit sandpaper and just rough it up. Don't go too crazy. Just rough up where that rod tip's going to sit, so it gives the glue some place to grab on. If you use Gorilla Glue, obviously it's the same deal. You just don't heat it up, but just understand that Gorilla Glue expands, so you're going to get bubbling coming out of the bottom, which you're going to have to clean up later. You know, you just don't want to have that all there coming out. Sometimes it could be a lot. But anyway, that's my quick tip. Push pin is your friend. So I hope that's helpful if any of you run into this before. And thanks for watching.